Hi, welcome back to the third part of the Jimmy Dore Show. I'm joined again by my good friend Frank Conniff from Mystery Science Theater 3000. So Frank, I was sitting at home the other day, and I was a little constipated. I know it's a little indelicate to talk about on the internet, but I was a little constipated. I didn't have any kaopectate or whatever you take for that stuff, X-Lax. I didn't have any X-Lax around. I was like, what am I going to do? And I was like, I got it. I know what I'll do. I'll just watch the local news, because that usually scares the shit right out of me. So I turned on the news, and here's what I saw.
The strongest warning yet about a possible link between cell phones and cancer. An international panel of experts says mobile phones can be as hazardous as the pesticide DDT and engine exhaust.
Whew, right out, huh? Oh, clean as a whistle inside. Oh, there's a link between cell phones and brain cancer. Hey, you know what the link is? Turns out it gives it to you. That's quite a link. Yeah, that's more like a direct connection. Yeah, and I like it. She said it's equivalent to diesel exhaust, or what was the other thing? Diesel exhaust or...
News reports?
As bad as the pesticide DDT or engine exhaust. And you know who I feel bad for is the guy the truck driver who has to carry the DDT and who's talking on his phone.
Yeah.
That's got to be horrible. That's got to be horrible. That's two people in the crowd, ladies and gentlemen. Two people.
And I don't feel that they overcharge me for my minutes on my pesticides.
So then they do the local news. You know, they do one of my favorite things. They always, whenever there's a story, they always have to go interview people on the street to help you understand it. Because I can understand news stories until I hear from babysitters and bartenders. So here we go.
Well, we can't run away from cell phones.
You know, I'm not the fastest guy in the world, but I'm pretty sure I can outrun my cell phone. Although yesterday when I was walking my dog, it did beat me to the corner. But in fairness, I wasn't even trying. I wasn't even trying. They talked to somebody else.
I like to talk on the phone a lot, so maybe I should stop.
You know what? I think it's a little too late for you. Sounds like you already have something pressing on parts of your brain.
Yes.
Yeah. Now here's someone else who's a little embarrassed about it. Ready?
I'm not talking 24/7, but I'm concerned for my best friend who talks on the phone all the time.
Yeah, she's
got a best friend.
She's got first of all, her best friend. It's like she's like embarrassed about it. It's like, do cell phones give you brain cancer? I'm asking for a friend.
I think if cell phones do give us brain cancer, it'll be the Chinese slaves who make them will be very happy about that, I think.
Frankie, why you gotta bring me down, Frank? Why you gotta do that to me?
I'm sorry that I brought you down out of the cancer story.
So what? So the making of my cell phone and computer involves suicide nets. What? What am I supposed to do? I'm just a human being. All right. So they talked to that one girl again.
There is concern about it. I do worry about it, but not so much, because there's other things that do cause cancer too.
Oh, yeah, see? Says there's other stuff that causes cancer because there's only a finite amount of cancer in the world to get. And since other stuff gives it to you, you don't have to worry so much about it. All right, I think, and then they go back to the report. Here's the reporter, and here we go.
Now, cell phone technology has only been popular for about 15 years, and cancers could take decades to develop.
So,
yeah,
decades to develop, that's 2 decades. Cell phones have been around for 15. I guess we'll know in about 4 or 5 years.
So relax, everybody.
So we're gonna, and I like how we had to like wave the phone around, like, so just so you know what we're talking about.
I think I'm doubly in danger because I listen to a lot of George Gershwin on my cell phone. Now, in 1937, that would have been too soon.
Okay. Trying to be professional. I'm Jimmy Dore. I'm sitting on my coat and punching my one thought. Now we're going to talk about George Zimmerman, who's back in the news. That's right, George Zimmerman. And I remind everybody, don't judge George Zimmerman until you walk a mile in his shoes and kill an unarmed black kid.
I wish I had his publicist. Man,
oh, no kidding.
TV all the time.
No kidding. Have you shot anyone lately?
No. Who books that?
It's a neighborhood watch. You got to get involved.
Okay,
Maybe become an Eagle Scout. So George Zimmerman, well, he had his bail revoked recently because it turns out Mr. Law and Order lied to the court about how much money he had and the fact that he had an extra passport. So here's his lawyer talking about that.
It's a credibility question with Mr. Zimmerman, and now that credibility has been attacked or tarnished, and now he's going to have to rehabilitate it.
Yeah, and he's going to do his part to rehabilitate his credibility by attacking the credibility of the black kid he shot.
Exactly.
Right? Isn't that that's what's going to happen? It's very important that people believe Mr. Zimmerman's testimony. So from now on, he'll need to be completely honest, and I'll need to get some rednecks on that jury.
It really, the whole thing, it puts him in a kind of a bad light, I think.
You mean George Zimmerman?
George Zimmerman, yeah.
Yes, it puts him.
It makes him seem kind of.
It makes him seem kind of shifty.
Yes,
like he would lie to help himself out or something. I don't know. It's
Next time he kills an unarmed black kid, he has to handle it better.
That's what I'm saying. Well, his lawyer did say he was confused and fearful when he allowed his wife to mislead the judge about his finances. So, in fact, he was so confused he forgot which version of the story he told police last time, and fearful that he couldn't repeat it the next time. Mm-hmm. And you know, let's be thankful. On the bright side, usually when Zimmerman is confused and fearful, somebody gets shot. That's all.
I know. Every time he gets upset, the 7-Eleven loses a customer.
Okay. You know, they released the phone records, right, of his conversations. Mm-hmm. And there was one conversation that someone talking to him said that they have a guy who's willing to fund his defense entirely, but he would have to take on as co-counsel one of the lawyers who defended Casey Anthony.
Oh.
Did you know that?
No, I didn't know that.
Yes. Do you remember that? You remember that trial?
I remember Casey Anthony.
Killed her baby, didn't tell anybody for a month, and you know that whole story, right? And then she was all partying. So you remember? So this. Go ahead.
George Zimmerman and Casey Anthony could get together. I smell a rom-com.
What is?
Romantic comedy.
Rom-com. Okay. Rom-com. He's inside. I don't even know his jokes. Okay, so here's that lawyer talking with Barbara Walters after the Casey Anthony trial.
Dancing and partying, and what do you say about that?
I think what we proved in court was that people grieve in many different ways, and people respond to trauma in various ways.
Yes, people respond and grieve in different ways. Like some people, when their child goes missing, weeps and they call the cops, right? And some people dye their hair and enter titty contests, right? And that's how she's grieving. If you look very closely at the snapshots from the wet t-shirt contest, you could see she's wearing a black armband.
Did you see her on the new Grieving Widows Gone Wild video?
Grieving Widows. Gone Wild. Frank Conniff, ladies and gentlemen. All right, right now, I just happen to be watching TV. I just happen to be watching TV. And I was watching Wheel of Fortune, which I never watch. But
yeah, right.
I watched it because my dad watches it. And my dad told me, he says, you know, Jimmy, every day Pat Sajak has his hair combed differently. And now I watch just to see how his hair is combed every day. And so I'm watching it. This actually happened while I was watching it. Ready? Here we go. You know, okay.
Good, Lisa. $300. T.
There are 3 of them. That's $900. If my math serves me right.
How about a vowel?
Yeah.
A T.
There is any, yeah, I know. Isn't it weird how that happens sometimes? Don't let it throw you. Katie, it's your turn.
Yeah, don't let it throw you, because you might say something stupid. Don't let it throw you. I'll have a T, 3 T's. Want to buy a vowel? A T. Ah, shit. Don't let it throw you.
I wonder if Pat Sajak and Vanna White bring the passion for their job every day. I mean, they're making gazillion dollars, but like 30 years of turning the letters and talking to the people who...
I'm guessing it's just a few hours a month.
Yeah, I'm not saying they've got it bad, but
yeah,
I'm just not sensing a creative fire in them when I.
You don't see the spark anymore?
No, I don't.
Do you think that Sajak's just walking through it sometimes?
He might be.
Do you think Chuck Woolery could have handled that like that? I don't think so.
I think Pat Sajak could get brain cancer from phoning it in, is what I'm saying.
Oh, by the way, we'll talk about this next week. All right, so that's our show. Let me thank everybody, my guests in the Oh My God segment, Steve Rosenfield, and my guest right now, Frank Conniff from Cinematic Titanic on Hulu, and follow him on Twitter.
On Twitter,
And this
yes,
is Jimmy
please.
Dore saying, until next week, you be the best you can be, and I'll keep being me.